Well, there are two lines from The Princess Bride that I love. The one that everyone is very familiar with is, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." That's the popular one.
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. This iconic line from The Princess Bride's most famous line was totally improvised, becoming ingrained in pop culture that it has been referenced across countless shows, including Hellboy and The Big Bang Theory.
It was such a joyous journey for me. I thought, I better write it before my memory starts to fail me, you know? I don't know how that came up. I was so nervous, and I only got through a couple of lines, so I said to her, you better do it quickly before they change their mind.
What many viewers don't realize is that some of the film's most memorable moments came completely unscripted from the actors themselves. In this video, I'll reveal how this unplanned moment shaped this beloved film and other instances where the cast's improvisational talents transformed good scenes into legendary ones. Ready to find out? Come along! The Princess Bride's most famous line was totally improvised. Many fans assume iconic movie lines are shaped with perfect precision by screenwriters. Yet many unforgettable moments come from spontaneous choices made on set. This idea becomes especially clear when looking at The Princess Bride, where creative improvisation produced cinematic magic that continues to touch audiences decades after the film's release. According to discussions among film lovers, many viewers suggest that the original screenplay by William Goldman included Inigo Montoya's revenge speech, but in a much more direct and simple form. The script version offered a plain declaration of vengeance without the emotional rise, repeated rhythm, or dramatic build that eventually defined the final performance. The written line served as a foundation, but the spoken version became something richer and more powerful. This change invites a curious question. How often does a script offer only a seed, while an actor brings the full bloom? The gap between the script and the final film grew even more interesting once the repetition of the line became central to its emotional force. The final version gained extra depth because the line appeared 6 times throughout the film, with each instance adding weight, tension, and anticipation. Could anyone have predicted that simple repetition would elevate the line from memorable to legendary? Many viewers still quote those words years later, and many discussions focus on how such a famous moment did not appear in full form on the page. A major reason for this transformation came from Mandy Patinkin's personal approach to the role of Inigo Montoya. Mandy Patinkin openly shared in later interviews that personal grief over the loss of Mandy Patinkin's father influenced Inigo Montoya's emotional journey. This personal history offered Mandy Patinkin a deep connection to the character's longing for justice. Because of this emotional link, Mandy Patinkin sensed that the line needed more than a single delivery. Mandy Patinkin wanted the line to carry the weight of a lifetime of longing, anger, hurt, and hope. This understanding led Mandy Patinkin to add layers of rhythm and intensity that did not exist in the script. The choice raises another gentle question. How often does real life guide an artist toward creative decisions that reshape a scene forever? During filming, Mandy Patinkin made a deliberate decision to repeat the line with increasing force, rather than speak the words only once as written. Each repetition grew stronger as Inigo Montoya cornered Count Rugen, and subtle adjustments in tone shifted the line from a quiet opening challenge to a fierce, victorious final cry. The rising emotion created a natural arc within the scene and revealed Inigo Montoya's lifelong obsession with this moment. Many film enthusiasts remark that this progression felt entirely believable, because a character who had practiced these words for decades would not simply state them once. Such a character would savor every syllable, allowing every repetition to strike like a wave of long-awaited justice. The idea invites yet another question for reflection. When someone finally reaches the end of a lifelong quest, would a single sentence ever feel enough? In the end, the transformation of Inigo Montoya's line from a simple script moment into a cultural touchstone shows how films sometimes depend as much on heartfelt performance as on written words. William Goldman's writing provided the structure, and Mandy Patinkin's emotional insight shaped the soul of the moment. Together, the two elements formed a scene that audiences remember with affection, admiration, and even a sense of personal connection. Many fans continue to repeat the line today, not just because it sounds striking, but because it carries the weight of a story, a loss, and a triumph. As the story unfolds, something deeper begins to stir, something far beyond the surface of a simple performance. Viewers start to realize that moments like this don't just happen. They evolve, shaped by invisible hands and unexpected choices. And perhaps the most meaningful question of all emerges from this transformation. When a moment touches so many people for so many years, what part of that moment belongs to the writer? And what part belongs to the performer who brought it to life? Stay with me, because this is exactly where everything shifts, and why it worked better than the original. Why it worked better than the original. The improvised version succeeded because the improvised version captured something essential about human emotion that the scripted version overlooked. According to many film observers, real human expression rarely unfolds in clean, single statements. During intense moments, people repeat themselves, circle back to important thoughts, and cling to words that carry deep personal meaning. This natural pattern made the improvised version feel more authentic, and many viewers suggested that this authenticity explained why the repeated line resonated so strongly. After all, who hasn't found personal feelings spilling out in loops, rather than neat sentences during times of anger, grief, or relief? Discussion among fans often points out that the repetition also created a rhythmic pull that shaped the emotional flow of the scene. The repeated line almost acted like a steady beat, building momentum each time the words returned. This rhythm drew the audience deeper into the moment, making the final declaration far more satisfying than a single scripted sentence could have achieved. The pattern carried a musical quality, with the line becoming a kind of refrain in Inigo Montoya's long-awaited Song of Vengeance. The idea raises a gentle question for anyone thinking about storytelling. Why do certain moments feel almost like music, even when no instruments are playing? Another observation made by film enthusiasts is that the improvised version served the character's arc in a far stronger way. Inigo Montoya's entire life centered on the pursuit of justice for a father's death, and such a journey could never be represented by one quick, polished line. The repetition communicated focus, desperation, loyalty, and the slow release of decades of pain. Each repeated statement exposed a layer of grief or fury that a single scripted line could not contain. Many viewers suggest that this layering of emotion allowed the audience to feel the weight of Inigo Montoya's past rather than simply hear about it. This difference prompts another question worth considering. When a character has lived with the same thought every day for years, wouldn't that thought spill out again and again at the moment of truth? Through this inspired moment of improvisation, a good scene transformed into an unforgettable one. The line moved beyond the boundaries of the film and became part of everyday culture, quoted by fans, referenced in conversations, and recognized even by those who had never seen the movie in full. Many commentators argue that this transformation stands as proof that some of the greatest moments in cinema come not from strict adherence to the script, but from instinct, emotion, and creativity. This remarkable shift shows how a single, almost effortless adjustment can transform a well-written moment into a truly timeless piece of storytelling. It reminds viewers that sometimes the most unforgettable scenes don't come from the script at all, but from an actor trusting a gut feeling that no writer could have predicted. And when you think about it, it naturally raises one final question. How many other classic moments owe their power to someone brave enough to follow instinct instead of ink on a page? That question opens a whole new door, and as we step through it, stay glued till the very end, because the next discoveries are even more surprising than you'd expect. Other improvised moments in the film. Improvisation appeared throughout The Princess Bride and contributed to several unforgettable scenes that nearly disrupted filming, according to accounts from cast and crew members. Although Inigo Montoya's famous declaration became the most quoted line from the film, many observers noted that other improvised moments played an equally important role in shaping the film's charm. One example often mentioned by fans and production insiders involved Billy Crystal's performance as Miracle Max. Billy Crystal received full freedom from director Rob Reiner, who encouraged total spontaneity by urging Billy Crystal to forget the written lines and simply let creativity take over. This guidance opened the door for an astonishing outpouring of humor. Reports from the set described how Billy Crystal improvised an endless stream of 13th-century jokes for several days, working 10-hour stretches without repeating material. The humor was so overwhelming that filming nearly came to a halt because crew members struggled to keep straight faces. Many observers later remarked that such a flood of comedy felt almost unreal, leading some to wonder how anyone could maintain composure in the face of such relentless wit. Carol Kane's performance as Valerie offered another example of improvisational brilliance. Carol Kane played Miracle Max's wife with a sharpness and warmth that blended effortlessly with Billy Crystal's non-stop humor. Accounts from set members and interviews suggest that Carol Kane responded to Billy Crystal's improvised lines with equal spontaneity, creating a lively back and forth that felt astonishingly natural. The exchanges between the two performers unfolded with the ease of a long-married couple who had spent centuries bickering, supporting, teasing, and understanding one another. Many viewers have commented on how this chemistry made their short scene unforgettable. The nearly unscripted dialogue added a spark that could not have been achieved through rehearsal alone, prompting observers to reflect on a simple question. How often do iconic moments arise when performers are allowed to trust instinct instead of structure? These improvisational successes demonstrated how much of the film's heart came from actors who embraced freedom and brought unique creative energy to their scenes. According to many reflections from cast members and audiences alike, the film gained its warmest and funniest moments, not just from the script, but from the unpredictable magic that occurred when talented performers were encouraged to explore Cary Elwes's unscripted reactions. Cary Elwes added a unique form of improvisation through physical comedy, and many accounts from the set describe how this contribution shaped several memorable moments. According to cast discussions, Elwes delivered all the physical behavior associated with the mostly dead version of Wesley during Crystal's scenes, creating movement and gestures that had not been written into the script. This commitment to physical humor led to repeated challenges, because Crystal's improvised jokes and unexpected timing caused uncontrollable laughter from Elwes. As a result, a rubber dummy had to replace Elwes in many shots, since maintaining a serious expression proved nearly impossible. This situation raised a playful question for many fans. How often can spontaneous comedy become so effective that a scene becomes impossible to film with a real actor? Another story from the production involved a far more chaotic moment in the fire swamp sequence. The dress worn by Buttercup, as played by Robin Wright, caught on fire during the shoot. Writer William Goldman, who had accidentally missed a safety demonstration earlier that day, believed the danger was real. Goldman reacted with immediate panic, shouting in fear, and halting the filming process. Director Rob Reiner had to pause production to calm Goldman and explain that trained crew members were controlling the flames. This unexpected interruption added a touch of real concern to an otherwise carefully choreographed scene and invited a thoughtful question about movie making. How often do scripted moments blur with real tension on set? Throughout production, many spontaneous actions, gestures, and unplanned reactions contributed layers of humor, warmth, and personality to the film. Each unexpected moment, whether intentional improvisation or accidental mishap, enriched the storytelling in ways that a script alone could not fully capture. Observers often comment that these contributions gave the film its lasting charm, because every added detail, every burst of laughter, and every unscripted reaction created a sense of authenticity that viewers continued to appreciate for decades. The blend of structured writing and adventurous performance demonstrated how storytelling grows stronger when artists stay open to the unexpected. This combination encouraged many fans to wonder whether the true magic of filmmaking sometimes appears not in what is planned, but in what happens when creative people allow instinct, humor, and genuine emotion to guide the moment. Why improvisation worked so well in this movie? Improvisation breathed life into The Princess Bride in ways scripted dialogue could not fully achieve, and several key factors aligned to create an atmosphere where spontaneous creativity thrived. Rob Reiner's directing style formed the core of this environment, because Rob Reiner welcomed unpredictability rather than resisting it. Instead of demanding strict script loyalty, Rob Reiner encouraged bold choices and invited actors to experiment freely. Billy Crystal received a memorable instruction from Rob Reiner to forget every written line and simply go for it, an invitation that opened the door for unexpected brilliance. This attitude grew naturally from Rob Reiner's background as an actor, a background that allowed Rob Reiner to understand the emotional risk involved in improvisation and the supportive environment required for creative freedom. Mandy Patinkin often remarked that Rob Reiner served as a genuine actor's director, an artist who valued performers deeply, cared for every performer's comfort, and trusted performers enough to explore new territory without hesitation. This sense of trust became a powerful force on set, giving every cast member permission to take chances, follow impulses, and respond to unfolding moments with fresh inspiration. Cast members repeatedly described how Rob Reiner's confidence in the ensemble created a sense of security that allowed spontaneous choices to flourish. And this collective willingness to embrace innovation shaped the spirit of the entire production. With an atmosphere built on encouragement, collaboration, and fearless creativity, the film gained a natural warmth and energy that continued to resonate long after filming ended. The cast's background in comedy and theater. The film benefited enormously from casting performers with strong improvisational foundations because these actors brought instincts and timing that a strict script could not provide. Billy Crystal, for example, carried years of experience in stand-up comedy and live television, including work on Saturday Night Live, where quick thinking and the ability to respond in the moment were essential skills. Observers noted that Crystal's improvisational instincts stretched back even further, as he himself recalled. Even in elementary school performances, Crystal would deviate from the script, inventing lines and reactions spontaneously. This early habit of going off-book laid the groundwork for a natural comfort with unscripted moments, allowing comedic timing, physicality, and reaction to flourish on set. Similarly, Many other cast members brought extensive theatrical training, which fostered adaptability and a readiness to explore beyond written dialogue. The combination of seasoned improv experience and classical acting techniques created an ensemble that could react fluidly to one another, respond authentically to unfolding situations, and transform scripted scenes into lively, unpredictable moments. Sometimes, the magic of a film doesn't come from perfect planning at all. It comes from those unexpected moments when the actors stop performing and start living inside the scene. Film analysts often suggest that this blend of preparation and instinct is exactly what breathed humor, charm, and a kind of unrepeatable energy into The Princess Bride. Viewers didn't just watch the characters, they felt like they were right there with them, reacting in real time. And isn't that the kind of storytelling that keeps us hooked without even realizing it? Now, stay with me, because what happened behind the scenes explains everything. How improv added authenticity. The unscripted moments in The Princess Bride contributed a natural quality that scripted dialogue often cannot achieve, bringing an energy to the film that made it feel alive, spontaneous, and surprisingly modern, despite its fairy tale setting. Many observers of the film point out that scripted lines can sometimes feel rehearsed or distant, even when delivered by skilled actors. Lines on the page may have wit or drama, but until they are voiced, acted, and reacted to in real time, they often lack the nuance of genuine human interaction. In The Princess Bride, the unscripted moments gave the dialogue a fluidity and authenticity that connected immediately with audiences. These moments allowed the actors to explore emotions and humor organically, giving rise to small gestures, pauses, and reactions that could never be fully anticipated in a script. By permitting the actors to play with the material, director Rob Reiner created an environment where improvisation was not just allowed, but actively encouraged, allowing the personalities of the performers to become integral to the film itself. Billy Crystal and Carol Kane exemplified the power of this approach. Prior to filming, the two actors devoted considerable time to developing the backstory of their characters and exploring the dynamics of their relationship. Rather than simply reading lines or following stage directions, they discussed the imagined history of Miracle Max and Valerie, the trials they had endured, and the quirks that would define their interactions. This preparation allowed the improvisation to emerge naturally, because every ad-libbed joke or gesture was grounded in an authentic understanding of who these characters were and why they behaved as they did. The rapport they built translated seamlessly to the screen, making their interactions feel like genuine exchanges between a long-married couple with years of shared experiences, affection, and private humor. Observers and cast members alike have noted that much of the humor and charm in these scenes came from the way the two actors listened and responded to one another in real time, creating a rhythm and flow that could never have been planned in advance. Cary Elwes later referred to some of their improvised jokes as 13th century period jokes, revealing the clever way the performers injected timeless humor that could resonate with modern audiences. These jokes, while playful and whimsical, felt grounded in character and circumstance, showing how preparation and improvisation could coexist to enrich storytelling. The spontaneous nature of these moments produced dialogue that was not only funny, but also enduring. Many lines and exchanges from the film have become iconic, quoted and referenced by fans decades after the film's original release. What makes these lines so memorable is the sense that they could not have been manufactured. They emerge from a genuine place of emotional truth and playful interaction between the actors. The energy behind the improvisation was contagious. Reports from the set describe moments when actors could barely maintain composure, laughter spilling into takes and creating a ripple effect among the cast. Mandy Patinkin, for instance, reportedly bruised a rib trying to suppress laughter during scenes with Billy Crystal, a testament to just how infectious the spontaneous energy had become. These unscripted bursts of joy, though technically mistakes in the strict sense of production, had the remarkable effect of enhancing the film's charm. Audiences respond to authenticity, and the visible delight of the performers carried over to the screen, creating moments that felt alive, fresh, and utterly believable. This dynamic extended beyond moments of laughter. Improvisation allowed actors to explore subtleties of timing, tone, and character that a written script alone could not capture. Pauses, glances, small gestures, and asides that were never planned became part of the scene's rhythm, adding texture and emotional resonance. For example, the playful banter between Miracle Max and Valerie involved countless small improvisations, exaggerated expressions, half-finished sentences, and ad-libbed commentary on the action that transformed what could have been a short, functional sequence into a fully realized moment of comedy and storytelling. Every choice, no matter how minor, contributed to a sense of lived-in reality. Within the story's whimsical setting, the audience was not simply observing actors delivering lines. They were witnessing two characters inhabiting a world, reacting to circumstances, and interacting in a way that felt authentic and immediate. In this way, the improvisation elevated the film from a simple fantasy adventure to a rich, emotionally engaging experience with humor and heart fully interwoven. The commitment to improvisation extended across the cast. Cary Elwes, known for his charm and timing, brought improvisational skill to multiple scenes, particularly in his interactions with Robin Wright and Wallace Shawn. Elwes's timing, expressions, and reactions often responded to unplanned moments from his co-stars, creating exchanges that could not have been scripted in advance. Similarly, Mandy Patinkin's Inigo Montoya occasionally adapted his delivery to match the unexpected energy in the room, altering pacing, repetition, and tone to heighten both drama and humor. Even Billy Crystal and Carol Kane, though central to many of the improvised moments, were supported by a cast and crew willing to respond and adjust in real time. This collaborative environment amplified the effectiveness of improvisation because comedy, emotion, and drama all depend on timing, reaction, and shared energy. When performers trust one another and are allowed the freedom to explore, the results can feel electric, as they did repeatedly throughout The Princess Bride. The effect of these unscripted moments extended beyond individual scenes, influencing the overall tone of the film. The interplay of improvisation and structured writing created a unique blend of humor, heart, and narrative momentum. Improvisation introduced unpredictability, which kept scenes from feeling rigid or overly polished, while the strong underlying script provided a narrative anchor that ensured each scene still advanced the story meaningfully. Audiences often sense when a scene feels staged or forced, but the natural give and take in improvised moments allowed the characters to breathe and the story to flow organically. This balance is part of what has allowed The Princess Bride to maintain its appeal over decades. The film never feels like a museum piece or a purely nostalgic artifact, but instead like a living story with energy, warmth, and wit that continues to resonate with new viewers. Ultimately, the improvisation in The Princess Bride became a defining feature of the film's identity. Spontaneous moments gave dialogue a rhythm and life that scripted words alone could not provide. They allowed performers to invest their own creativity, emotion, and timing into every exchange, resulting in humor that felt earned, emotion that felt real, and characters that felt fully inhabited. The collaboration between actors, guided by a director willing to embrace unpredictability, created an environment in which improvisation could flourish. resulting in a film that is both meticulously crafted and vibrantly alive. The joy and authenticity captured on set translated directly to the screen, helping create The Princess Bride's distinctive charm. Over time, these unscripted moments became part of the cultural vocabulary, quoted, referenced, and cherished by audiences around the world. They serve as a lasting reminder of how spontaneous creativity, when nurtured and supported, can transform good storytelling into something timeless, inviting viewers to laugh, feel, and connect with characters who seem as real as the world outside the screen. This combination of preparation, improvisational skill, and instinctive timing illustrates a broader truth about performance. Great acting often depends not just on memorizing lines, but on inhabiting a character, listening, reacting, and daring to experiment in the moment. In the case of The Princess Bride, improvisation was not merely an enhancement. It became a core part of the film's magic, giving life to dialogue, creating memorable comedic beats, and building emotional resonance that remains compelling decades after the film first premiered. Audiences continue to respond to this spontaneity because it mirrors the unpredictable, layered, and often humorous ways people interact in real life. Sometimes, the moments that stay with us the longest aren't the ones a writer carefully planned, but the tiny surprises that slip through when actors forget the script and simply feel their way through a scene. Those unscripted bits, a shy smile, an unexpected laugh, a line whispered instead of spoken, instantly make a story feel more alive, almost as if we're being allowed to witness something we were never meant to see. And isn't that the kind of magic that keeps us glued to the screen? As we move forward, stay with me till the very end, because what comes next reveals just how deeply these spontaneous choices shaped cinema's most unforgettable moments. The lasting impact of improvised lines. The Princess Bride stands as a clear example of what can happen when filmmakers place trust in their actors' instincts. What began as a straightforward script gradually transformed into a cultural phenomenon through moments of unplanned brilliance. Mandy Patinkin's repeated, emotionally charged delivery of Inigo Montoya's revenge line elevated an already strong piece of writing into something legendary, while Billy Crystal's entirely improvised antics created moments so funny that crew members sometimes had to leave the set to recover from laughter. These scenes did not exist because the script demanded them. They existed because the actors were given space to explore, take risks, and inject themselves fully into the story. At the center of these magical moments was Rob Reiner, a director who understood when the structure of the script needed to guide the scene and when actors should be allowed to roam freely. That balance between careful planning and creative freedom created a rare environment in which performers could bring authentic humor, emotion, and personality to their roles. Lines that might have read as stiff or formal on the page became living, breathing moments that audiences could quote and remember for decades. The combination of written foundation and inspired improvisation gave the film a vitality that still feels fresh, even decades after its release. Perhaps this is why The Princess Bride remains so beloved. The film feels genuine, not because every detail was meticulously planned, but because so many of its iconic moments were born from true creative instinct. No screenwriter could have anticipated how Mandy Patinkin would channel personal grief into Inigo Montoya's lifelong quest, or how Billy Crystal would spontaneously craft jokes that combined modern humor with a medieval setting. Those choices arose organically, yet they created moments that became timeless. The legacy of these improvised moments stretches far beyond the film itself. Inigo Montoya's repeated declaration, along with countless other lines and gestures, has entered popular culture, referenced in shows, movies, and everyday conversation. The story of The Princess Bride demonstrates a fundamental lesson about storytelling. Sometimes, the most unforgettable moments happen not because of careful calculation, but because talented performers follow their instincts, trust their emotions, and take the risks that allow art to feel alive. It is this combination of preparation, instinct, and courage that ensured the film's enduring charm, making it a masterpiece of both writing and performance, and a reminder that magic often comes from the unexpected. With this, we have come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, do well to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. To enjoy more thrilling stories, click now on the following video that pops up on your screen.